puts that whole virgin birth into question. I don't believe in the virgin. Well, I can't say I don't believe in the virgin birth,
I
but
actually accept
I
the virgin birth.
question aspects of the story. I
And
think
actually, I think El Elyon is the proper interpretation there. I think Jesus was pointing out, no, you have it wrong. You're worshiping me, and you're forgetting about my Father. I think that's really what he was going for.
you
But I
find all
don't think
these
the
red
Jews understood.
flags when you're dealing with. If there's a red flag, then that's like it's a whole false issue. Matthew said that Jesus was Emmanuel from Isaiah 7, and it's like, no, he wasn't. Just read Isaiah 7. It's not about Jesus. It's about some guy that lived 700 years before Jesus. So it's like that puts in the virgin birth into question, because he's getting details wrong. He's making stuff up. He's lying about it. So
actually, you have to remember when it comes to the identity of Emmanuel, and in Jewish literature of Jesus' day, Emmanuel was often seen as though he lived, was also seen as a theophoric title representing the future Messiah who was to come. So though there was a man actually named Emmanuel, it was also used as a messianic title, just like Son of David.
Yeah, I know. It was
just like
mistakenly used as a messianic title.
I don't think it was a mistake, because here's the other thing. Another interesting thing about the name, one of the names given to the son would be given?
What?
Abed, which means, it can mean Father of Eternity. That's the most common Christian translation, but it can also mean my Father is eternity. Another reference to El Olam, the eternal God.
I know, but this thing about names, everybody had a name like that. Just because your name...
Yeah, but how many people have more than one name?
Great.
Think about it. Huh? How many people actually hold 4 or 5 names? That's not common.
No.
And that's what's happening here.
Yeah, but nobody's ever called Jesus Emmanuel ever in the history of mankind. So that's a false prophecy.
And he dwelled among us. Wait a minute. And he dwelled among us. Remember John? And he dwelled among us. Indirectly referencing Emmanuel.
I got a question. What's the best Bible?
The best Bible? Let me see.
There's no answer to that question, man. You have to compare them all. So you got to go to Bible Hub.
Really?
Just compare them all side by side.
But I'm not a scholar, so I wouldn't be able to compare them. So how do you find a scholar?
You just go to Bible Hub and then click on Bible Hub Parallel in the little menu, and it'll show every verse from it'll show 50 different translations, right?
So you really should read 50 different ones when you're reading.
Well, if there's a verse that you just want to understand more, you can look it up and look it up in all the translations and see what
you got. Can you show me on your screen how that works and maybe give us an example?
My favorite Bible is actually the New American Bible, the Catholic edition.
And why is that?
Oh, just because of how lovely this Bible looks, and also it includes the Wisdom of Solomon, the Book of Tobit, the usual books that people that like the Old Testament Apocrypha.
What do you like about Tobit?
Tobit.
And Judith.
Think about Judas, huh?
You ever read? What's in Judith, basically?
I was talking about Tobit and the Wisdom of Solomon.
There's another one, Judith, isn't it? Judith.
In the
New American?
I don't know. The problem is I don't know all the books of the Bible.
Really?
Not off the top of my head, no. I'm not a Christian.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you might have. It sounded like you were pretty scholarly about the Bible. You were telling people.
I know a lot about about Genesis. I know a lot about the Gospels, but.
Well, you were talking about
interest.
Translations in original languages. You said it's important to know them or something. I forgot.
Yeah, they are important to know. But remembering names, does anyone have time to remember 73 different names? I believe it's 70. Is it 73 or 72? Yeah, my memory is shot.
You talking
I'm
about
not-
the whole Bible, you mean?
Yeah, I am. I'm referring to the Catholic Bible, but you get the point.
How long have you studied the Bible?
Well, off and on since I was about 14. I'm about 25 now.
Oh, okay. So you
But
haven't
I've
studied-
mostly studied it out of personal interest, so I haven't really gone to school for any of this. I just studied the basics of the language that I could learn on my own because unfortunately, not having money means you can't really pay to get taught. You have to do
Okay.
things on your own,
I didn't
unfortunately.
know where you were at. Yeah, I was just kind of curious.
But I do love studying religious texts, the Bible, the Avestas, the Quran. Although trying to read the Quran is like asking for a headache.
Are you in the U.S.?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. You originally from here?
Yeah, I'm from the US. At least in this lifetime. I believe in reincarnation, but that's besides the point.
Okay, I just was wondering what nationality you were from, or from
Half
another
white,
country.
half Filipino.
Okay.
So, what Bible do you read, News Unit? Are you familiar with Bible Hub very much?
I've been there. Yeah, I've been to all of them. I've been to what's the name of them now? Let me think of them for a minute here. I've been to Bible Hub. Is that the blue and white one?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's
I
the
think
other
that's
one?
the best
What's the
one.
red and white one?
I don't
What's
even
the
know
red-
those other
Bible
ones.
Gateway.
Gateway. I've been to Bible Gateway and Bible Hub, so I know. Yeah, and I recognize those. I don't
Yeah.
get.
What
I don't.
about Blue Letter Bible?
What's that?
Blue Letter Bible. That's another blue and white one.
Yeah, that's the one I use somewhat. Blue Letter Bible. I read only the King James version.
I
Yeah.
like to have a good interlinear. You know, in Bible Hub's interlinear, you just click on it and it's
Why did hay make that noise then? Just
So, what Bible do you read, News Unit? Are you familiar with Bible Hub very much?
I've been there. Yeah, I've been to all of them. I've been to what's the name of them now? Let me think of them for a minute here. I've been to Bible Hub. Is that the blue and white one?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's
I
the
think
other
that's
one?
the best
What's the
one.
red and white one?
I don't
What's
even
the
know
red-
those other
Bible
ones.
Gateway.
Gateway. I've been to Bible Gateway and Bible Hub, so I know. Yeah, and I recognize those. I don't
Yeah.
get.
What
I don't.
about Blue Letter Bible?
What's that?
Blue Letter Bible. That's another blue and white one.
Yeah, that's the one I use somewhat. Blue Letter Bible. I read only the King James version.
I
Yeah.
like to have a
why do people seem to wilt when you tell them that you only read the King James Bible?
good interlinear. You know, in Bible Hub's interlinear, you just click on it and it's got everything right there. You can click on each individual word, and it's just so easy.
There's only one good thing I will say about the King James. I like its form of English. That's my only good thing I can say about it.
Yeah, I wish I could talk like that.
Why? What's bad about it?
Just a few of the translation choices here and there. Let's see.
Get ready to listen to a whole pile of tosh.
I think I might even have one of the verses open. The way they translate Exodus chapter 6, verse 3 for one. That's one place I have great
Yeah.
disagreement with them.
There
But
every
then
time that I find a red flag, there's an issue with translation
How do
with
you
a
know
single
so
word.
much about translation and you haven't studied it all that much?
Well, what I did study is since I couldn't have someone teach me how to read Hebrew as a language, what I did was I studied the grammatical structure of the language instead, because that's something you can study much more easily, even if you can't actually learn pronunciation and whatnot. It's a much easier way to at least get a grasp of what you're reading, especially if you have multiple different translations in front of you. If you can at least learn the grammatical structure and possible translations of certain prefixes and suffixes, you'll be able to understand basically what you're reading. You won't be 100%, but you will be able to at least grasp better than someone who doesn't know these skills.
What exactly do you read it? Since you said you didn't believe a certain way, I forget how you put it, but you study the Bible for some reason.
I studied it mostly because I thought it was interesting.
Oh. And
But
then,
the other reason is because I'm a Canaanite and it's a close relative to the Canaanite religion.
You're a Canaanite? What do you mean?
In terms of my religion, I align myself with the ancient Canaanites, Canaanite polytheism.
So you may believe in more than one God?
I do.
Might be the first Canaanite.
I'm just going to read this definition to you. I just did a Google search, Canaanite polytheism, sorry. So it says here, this isn't Wikipedia, by the way. I will put a link. What were the Canaanites' religious beliefs? Canaanite religious beliefs were polytheistic, with families typically focusing worship on ancestral household gods and goddesses, so-called, while honouring major deities such as El, Asherah, Baal, Anat, and Astarte at various public temples and high places. That's what they're dealing with in there. He said so. Oh, what's he doing in there? I mean, even in an SDA channel. I mean, why is he was in Praise I Am's channel the other day?
In about 5,000 years. How many? 3,000 years?
Wow, you're a Canaanite.
Well, remember, the Canaanites were also referred to as the Phoenicians.
You're not a direct descendant from Ham, though.
No.
You just align your thinking with the Canaanite religion.
Yeah, my religion is the same as theirs.
And basically, what did they believe, those Canaanites?
They believed in multiple gods. Primarily, their patron god was Bel-Hadad.
Yeah, and then they would sacrifice little babies.
Wait. That actually is not what happened. That's not what happened. Actually, that happened after they converted to a belief in Bel-Amun, who was a solar deity rather than a storm god, both referred to as Bel. There's a bunch of confusion between these deities in the ancient world, and it actually caused a lot of trouble for everyone involved.
Whatever they did it to them kids, man.
Bel-Amun is a sun god who is also associated with Molech, the shameful king, being the literal translation of the name.
Yeah.
So you were, let's see, Canaanite. So you're a Canaanite.
My beliefs align closer with the pre-Exodus Canaanite beliefs.
The pre-Exodus Canaanites. So after they came off the ark, kind of.
Yeah, right around that time period, before the Exodus happened.
So when Noah said, "Cursed be Canaan."
There's a funny story about that. I'd rather not get into the funny story because you're going to have me laughing and it will hurt my stomach. Well, do you know the story of his birth? Canaan.
Canaan?
Yes.
I do not. I just know that he was the son of Ham. I don't know the
Okay.
specifics. It's not
Remember
given.
what it says about uncovering thy father's nakedness in the Torah?
Yeah,
When
I
you
just know.
uncover, when you relating it to incest, do you remember that particular
No,
aspect
I've
in
heard
the
people
law?
twist a lot of things, but I don't read that in the text. Where does that come from?
Let me pull that up because that's actually
In
comes from
Leviticus,
Leviticus. What I'm referring to.
A what?
Leviticus 17 or something, you should not uncover
Yeah.
the nakedness of your father, mother, sister, brother, all that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
more
that.
the laws and the statutes and the ordinances and all that.
And it relates the nakedness of the mother being the nakedness of the father. That passage.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact verse, but so the Jewish understanding has almost always been that Ham slept with his own mother, and because of that, because of the union, this unholy union, the son was cursed as a punishment to both. As a punishment to the father, his son got cursed. It's very barbaric in terms of the way that curse happened, but
when
that's
Ham
besides the point.
uncovered Noah's nakedness, you're saying that's basically a euphemism for he slept with his mother, or I mean his wife. He
Yes.
slept with his wife. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, it is a euphemism.
Is that what do you mean by that?
Or it's just like a nice way of saying that he slept with his mom, Noah's wife,
Yeah, while she was drunk, so yikes.
while Noah was drunk.
You
Yeah.
said it was a euphemism.
Or I don't know. I don't know what a euphemism even is. So I just was trying to be cool with big words.
I didn't know what euphemism meant, but I've just had to remind myself. A mild or indirect word or expression substituted, underlined, for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So basically, it's a watered down word substituted. Yeah, God's word isn't watered down, thank you. I'm going to have my recording here anyway. I'm going to try and keep these recordings short because they just take up a lot of time and I've got other things I need to do today.